So today I got a repeat download actually that I had last year, and they wanted me to show you the details about a specific love connection in your life using quantum physics. I get downloads with like quantum physics and sacred geometry and like mutualism, symbolism, all sorts of stuff all the time. It's pretty freaking cool, not gonna lie. But anyways, you can't do that without looking intelligent as well, especially as we dive into the quantum physics aspect. So it appears that there's a collective shift that's happening, which will put the entire collective on a brand new timeline. Yeah. We're jumping timelines, and they're going to show us how today. They're going to show us what timeline that we currently exist on within these sub-collectives as I do the readings. Pile 1 is one sub-collective, pile 2 is another sub-collective, and continues onward. And they're going to show us how our sub-collective jumping of timelines within these love connections actually impacts the whole collective here on planet Earth. It's just exhibited throughout different semantics, aka how things play out. So the shift seems to be involved with a specific love connection, as I stated. So we're going to look at how this shift happens on an atomic level. Yes, I'm talking about actual atoms. Whether on an individual or collective basis, we're going to find out exactly what the shift is telling us and the impact that it has on the general collective and the entire world. Yes. You and your connection impact the entire world. So let's go to the drawing board to understand the quantum physics of this shift, and then we're going to dive into the tarot to find out more. If you're not interested in finding out about the quantum physics of this, go straight to the reading, pick a pile. But if you're interested in knowing about the mathematical concepts of your soul journey, then join me on my fridge at the drawing board. Hi, and welcome to the explanation of the quantum mechanics. I'm totally getting crazy ringing in both of my ears. All right, so that means I'm getting the downloads that I need. I can't believe I say some of this crap. Anyways, let's move on. To determine what shift is taking place or what shift needs to take place that we can initiate ourselves, we're actually going to be using an atom. So this is quantum physics at its most basic, and forgive me if I screw it up a little bit, because I'm not a quantum physicist. But anyway, here we have the nucleus of an atom. You guys might remember this from grade school. And within the nucleus, we have the protons and the neutrons, right? So let's just label those so that you know. Protons, neutrons. Now, protons have a positive charge. Neutrons are, of course, neutral, hence neutrons. But then around the atom, almost like in the orbit of our solar system, we have these electrons. That's a little negative dash in there. Several orbits exist around the nucleus of the atom, okay? So let's say these are the two electrons that are currently here. But they're in a grounded state, which means they're not moving, they're not doing anything, which is absolutely not true, because there's the nuance of the universe I'm hearing. Everything is in constant motion, everything is always moving. But in this particular example, for the sake of explanation, consider these basically inert. Okay, so I just got a download to do a video on inertia too. Okay. Anyways, I just love how I just get these downloads. But anyway, so now we're going to notice that something in the environment is impacting this atom. There's some sort of activity going on external to the atom that is impacting it, and it's exciting these electrons. It's making them wiggle. It's making them jiggle. And what do they want to do when they wiggle and jiggle? They want to move. They want to move. So they're either going to move outward to, for example, this electron shell or even this electron shell. But in order to do so, something has to happen. So this external stimuli that's happening to this atom that's agitating the electron means that there's energy being imposed on that electron, and that electron is going to absorb that energy. When it absorbs that energy, it jumps up to a new shell, depending upon how much energy it absorbs. A new shell is also orbit. So shell, orbit, those are versatile words. So that means it's increasing its vibration. Absorption is an increase in vibration. Now, let's say the opposite were to take place, and this electron decided, oh, it's going to release its energy. It's still going to choose to do so based upon some sort of external stimulation. But when it releases its energy, that means it moves down. The electron moves down into a different orbital shell. So a release of energy is called emission. Electron emission. So it's getting rid of energy. It's dissipating energy. Okay? Either way, a shift is taking place. And that's what we need to understand. This is what happens with timelines. If you consider each of these shells a timeline, each of these orbits a given timeline, you're either going up in energy or raising your vibration and absorbing energy, or you're releasing energy and moving down in vibration closer to the nucleus of the atom. How does this impact our relationships? Well, we're going to find out because they're going to show us. We're going to look at every single pile and see, are you releasing energy, moving down in a lower vibrational rate, or are you absorbing energy? And then what does that mean for the collective in general? How does that impact all of us? I think this is a very cool reading, and we're using it on a love reading to find out what the heck is going on. Do keep in mind, when you increase your vibration, that's very positive changes. When you decrease your vibration, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's negative changes, but it could mean that there's something that needs to be released from your life. For example, a connection. So we're going to find out what's happening with your love connection based upon this. I think this was pretty freaking cool. I love my guides. If you like this, tune in for more because there's a lot more that they've given me as downloads for future readings. And yes, we can apply them to love connections too. I can't wait to see you there. Pick your pile and good luck. All right, y'all. Let's dive into the oracle cards that we're going to use for this reading. We have the Astral Realms Crystal Oracle, the Elemental Oracle, the Cosmic Journey Oracle, Archetype cards, and for the tarot portion, we'll be using Tarot in Space. For pile number 1, you guys have this beautiful ball. I forgot what it's called. Bumblebee jasper, maybe? I don't know. For pile number 2, we have this lemon calcite mushroom. Very phallic in nature. For pile number 3, we have this bear, and you know what? I know what stone that is. It's out of my brain. And for pile number 4, we have this cute little star. Ooh, I'm seeing something. Maybe pile 4 and 1 are related. If you have not yet to like and subscribe to the videos, go ahead and do so now if you feel inclined. And don't forget that there's also an introduction to this reading, which is based on quantum physics. I cannot wait to dive into this with you. Let us go. I'll see you in your reading. Hey, pile 1. All right, so I'm excited to do this. We are going to find out all about this energetic shift, this jumping of timelines. And we're taking a look at a specific love connection to find out whether you're moving together, moving apart, what the current status is, and like how this impacts the rest of the world, this unique connection. For person A, we have the networker in reverse. The light attributes are enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy, and the shadow attributes conveys information only for personal gain, spreads fear and falsehood. And I'm noticing like there's a bunch of letters, and she's got one in her hand. And she looks like she's running across the top of the world. She's going somewhere. She's traveling somewhere. Interesting. I feel like this is you already, the viewer. Okay. More about you, if that's you, but if not, it would be your person. We have Jupiter, the planet Jupiter. Ooh, there's a beautiful ring down here, and there's like a flame underneath the planet that's highlighting an eyeball. And this is number 26, so 8 or 26 might make a resonance, whatever, it might resonate with you. Curiosity, is the key word here. And then apophyllite is the stone. And I'm looking at how this apophyllite grows. It's like in clusters around Jupiter. Jupiter's also wearing a tiara. And then there's a halo. Interesting. That definitely describes your energy is what I'm picking up on from the collective. We're going to dive more into that. Let's go to your person. Or, well, this is you and this is your person. Is how the person A, person B reading style is what I'm doing today. We have the scribe. The light attribute is preserving knowledge and information, and the shadow attribute is altering facts or plagiarizing others' work. And I'm noticing in here that she's writing something, which would make sense because it's the scribe. Katje, go ahead. Okay, anyway, sometimes my brain picks up on things like during a reading, and this person is definitely a brainiac. This person thinks a lot. I'm not, for sure. We have number 22. With perspective, the planet Neptune and Larimar as the stone. I'm seeing broken pillars here, but I'm also like, that kind of looks like an eye in Neptune. There is a spot on the planet Neptune. I love astronomy. I have a couple of telescopes and I use them not as frequently as I'd like to, but I feel like this person is going inward, looking internally about something. Okay, and then we have, for the connecting energy, we have mountain with clarity. That's number 16. So let's dive in here. And I'm wondering, do I want to like adjust your view? Yes, I do. Which I think is something that both parties in this situation are doing. They're adjusting their viewpoint about this situation. Something has stood out to both of you about this connection. First of all, I don't think that you're talking to this person. I think you've gone your way and they've gone theirs. But the thing is like your person, the scribe person, wants to communicate with the networker again. But the networker is like holding on to a message and they're doing something with it. I feel like the scribe person gave the networker person, oh, this might not be you. This might not be you. Okay, there's a lot of mirroring in this pile. As far as, and mirroring, for those of you who don't know, it's like when you both exhibit similar energies, but the semantics are different. So I don't feel like the two parties are in contact with each other. As a matter of fact, hell has frozen over, and maybe you feel like the day that you speak again next, it'll be when hell freezes over, because it doesn't seem like that's what's going to happen. But I do believe that both of you, given these eyes that we saw in the planets Jupiter and Neptune, I do believe that both of you guys have a different perspective on the situation, and that both of you actually have been enlightened, been awakened to something within yourselves as individuals because of this connection. I do feel like there's hope for this connection, and that you will eventually speak together again, and but there are several hurdles to jump, and these hurdles are all about waking each of you up as a soul. I feel like this scribe person woke up the networker person. So it is your energy. Why are they? Oh my goodness. The two energies are so similar that I'm like, and yet they're not. They're entirely different. This scribe person doesn't even know what it's like to be awake. And this Neptune person, which isn't the Neptune person actually. The Neptune goes over here with the scribe, but there you go for the mirroring energy. This networker person has very Neptunian energy, and they are waking up to a lot of things that this scribe had communicated to them that were so subtle. This networker person really picked up on the energy between them and the scribe, and like it was, honestly, I'm just gonna call it what they're saying. It was a soul recognition that the scribe is still blind to, and I'm noticing that that's crooked. I'm so sorry. I have OCD. I think that your brain, okay, not only your brain, but the scribe's brain as well, is like completely inundated with information about this connection on a spiritual level. Like you guys definitely talk together all the time in the 5D. I had to drink my Red Bull. Sorry about that. And what's happening is two totally different things. You are raising your vibration and going to a new level. So you are the electron that's jumping and going to a further outer shell. Oh, this is so interesting what they just said. Okay. You're that electron that is jumping to the further shell. You look at your shell, like you're about to go to a new shell. Here's the interesting thing. That puts you further away from God to discover more about yourself, but also closer to the God source itself to discover more about yourself. Whereas this person, this scribe person, they are releasing energy. So they're in the emission state. You're in the absorption state. And you are experiencing some sort of enlightenment about life in general, not just this connection. And they are emitting energy. They're actually learning how to let go of things, but they're actually even going like deeper. If you take a look at this Neptune card, this perspective card, they're starting to internalize this connection. I feel like this little thing right here is like somebody's body. It's just horizontally. And they're going deeper into this connection. Their psychic powers are actually starting to get turned on. And they're walking through two pillars. This reminds me of the never-ending story, like back in the 80s when the kid walked through, when Atreyu walked through the oracles. This person is walking through oracles. This person is very interesting. This person has such deep emotions for you. They don't even know. They don't even know about their emotions for you. I think this person is emotionally shut off. Your scribe person. And I don't know why I'm saying like it's your person, but I just feel like that's what it is. This person is also very confused. They don't even understand why they have emotions for you, nor do they want to deal with that. This is a master number 22. 22 reduces to 4 numerologically, which is all about holding on to something. It's also about safety, security. And I think that this person is holding on to their sanity for dear life because there's an intuitive connection here and their heart space is coming online and they're having a hard time with that. They don't want their heart space online. Whereas your heart space has come online. You're already awakened to this connection, but the connection is now dormant. It is sleeping. And that's so that both of you could navigate away from each other and do what you need to do to wake up. Is because you were asleep. I feel like you're not asleep right now, but that this connection is definitely asleep. This person does not, they're about to go on a journey to research things. And I feel like maybe they like create texts or have conversations with you in their mind, like, or wonder like, oh, what they're going to say the next time that they run into you. And they're not truthful about their side of this connection and what they've been experiencing. I think that they try to ignore it. Actually, because it's too weird for them. It's too weird for them. They don't understand it. Neptune is all about confusion. and diving into this little pool down here of psychicness is exactly what's happening to them. I think that this person has very, very vivid dreams now, and I don't think that they remembered their dreams before. Whereas you're coming into a period, by the way, of exceptional, profound luck. By jumping to this higher electron orbit, you are so activated, you are so turned on energetically, and like you are about to be crowned with some sort of success and some sort of achievement. You're very curious about the mechanics of this connection, but you're also the type of person to be curious about the world around you. I think that you've had to close yourself off after you encountered this connection for the first time, and then continuous encounters with it, that I also just heard were few and far between, by the way. But anyway, that you've had to internalize, you've had to process this, and now you're awake and you're like, this connection is bigger than I know. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a big connection. It's very important for me. And maybe you're also finding your life purpose. I just heard. Oh, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Look at you all awake and shit. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Now here's the thing. You're meant to convey the information that you learned from life. Because of this connection, you're meant to show other people. You're meant to teach other people. Whereas the scribe person is actually meant to gain a new perspective because everything that they thought was true about the world is actually not. They're waking up to the fact, well, they're not waking up yet, but they will be. After they go through this process of introspection, they're going to wake up to the world around them and accept the fact that it's just not what they thought it was. Now, So the two of you are moving a little further away from each other, but not really. Not really, because I think that if you come back and choose like a different pile or even a different reading at another point in time, you're going to find that you come together again. And that's important because it's for your soul growth. I feel like this scribe person wants to communicate, and that there's a plan to, and that you're waiting to receive that communication. You're not running. I feel like you're now running away from this connection, and or trying to, at least, but not from like a runner type of mentality. I feel like you're gonna explore the world and figure out what the heck all of this stuff is all about. I think that you're gonna dive into some sort of research about spirituality and spiritual concepts, and what you learn. You're going to have conversations with others, and you're going to teach them what you learn, and that's part of the reason for this connection, because it is associated with your life purpose. I think at this point in time, you're not truly networking, but that you are doing your own research. And then, like, you know, I just heard a year or two later, but I mean, take that with a grain of salt. Then they just said, well, then take everything with a grain of salt. Why don't you? Okay. Also, they want you to know that time doesn't exist, but like this person will eventually catch up energetically to where you are right now, but then you're going to be at a new level. Oh, this is beautiful. This is so educational. But a fire has been lit under your ass to start learning, and you got to start here at the bottom. But mind you, in this Jupiter card, I also see what looks like another eye on the top. But also, you can consider all these little stormy spots eyes. Like, your eyes are being open not only to this connection, but to the world around you and your purpose here, and you're going to start serving it. I feel like you're coming into a state of true joy, which will be hard because, you know, you're going to miss this connection because of the strangeness and how you've never experienced anything like this before. But it's a very, very divine time situation. And even though you're not talking right now, I do think that in time, the both of you will be talking to each other at some point in time once again. But a lot of growth has to happen. And I mean, it's a lot of growth. It's a long journey. And then it's lonely at the top, but not always. So how does this connection, where you are raising your vibration and this person has to lower their vibration, maybe to engage also in a little bit of self-destructive behavior, but it's all to learn. It's all to go deeper and learn more. Ooh, I'm just hearing, like, the pitch in my left ear was so high. Okay, so if this sounds like your connection and you're not talking with one another, I'm just going to keep these cards temporarily up here. And we're going to get into the tarot, utilizing the Tarot in Space deck, which I'm so excited. I believe I got this off of Etsy. So let's check out a little more about, like, the connection as a whole. How does this impact the general collective? Because the two of you are doing opposite things, which is fine. Because here on the physical earth, opposites attract, but in the spiritual realm, it's like attracts like, and this person has to get to your level. And you're actually not even on the level that you were when you met them. You've actually ascended past that level. So let's see. Let us see. What does this mean for the general collective? The Two of Comets. 12, Stasis. Ooh, okay. The Ace of Comets, the Ace of Rockets in reverse, and the back of the deck energy is the Seven of Comets. Yes, okay. First of all, this person definitely does want to communicate with you. They definitely do, and they might do so again rather soon. Yeah, they want to talk to you. It might be like electronically, whether they text you or call you or something to do online. There's stuff happening in the background of their lives. But I feel like if they contact you, that they're not going to be like their true personality. They're still going to be hiding the weirdness that they're feeling within this connection. 12, stasis. I don't know why I put that in reverse. But this person in this card is happily at a standstill. And they're trusting the universe to give them the knowledge and the timing of everything without actually taking any action. So here we have the Ace of Comets, and the Ace of Comets looks like it's shooting fast, but it's not, because rockets are fast. So this is definitely at a standstill, but... And the Seven of Comets, which would be like the Seven of Cups. So we have the Two of Cups, stasis, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Rockets in reverse, and then we have the Seven of Cups, or the Ace of Wands in reverse, the Seven of Cups. So this card has a lot to offer. And it's your connection with this person is actually meant to go slowly. Although and it's meant to teach each other about how to be patient. Because maybe this connection wasn't, well, here's the thing. We have two conflicting messages here. And I feel like your connection there's conflicting messages from this person. You know, are they interested in you or are they not interested in you? It's meant to go slowly, though. It's meant to go slowly so that something serious and true can actually transpire. I think that over the course of time, there is great potential for the two of you to actually engage in a full-on relationship. And what that will do for the world is bring opportunities to other people whose lives you touch, where those individuals are confused, and then because of the combined energy between the two of you, they start working through their own confusion. You guys your connection has the impact on the world that puts it on a timeline where it goes into a sleep. It goes into a slumber, but that's for internal processing. At least that's the energy at this point in time. And how you affect the rest of the collective is through helping people, through your energy, your combined energy and your connection, okay? You guys help people to dive into themselves. Your energy is contagious. Energy is we transmit it to each other. And there are going to be people who pick up on your energy as individuals, but also the energy that you two have swirling around as a connection. Whenever you come back into communication with this individual, what will happen is those around you, first of all, people might think that you're in a relationship with them. You guys might give off that vibe, but then also it will influence others to want to be in meaningful relationships, to want to open their hearts up. And it'll influence others to go within and to see what it is that holds them back from being able to do so. So that's a form of healing. So you guys are helping the world heal by showing people that, first of all, they need to heal in the first place. Oh, that's beautiful. Just by existing and experiencing the connection as you do naturally, that's the energy, the combined energy that this connection has on the collective, which is important when it comes to the collective moving into timelines, because more and more people these days have been, thanks to social media and the further separation, we sit down at a table, we don't even talk to each other, we pull out phones. My daughter will text me from her room, I think that you guys will start helping people go inward to realize that they want connection. They want deeper connection with others. They want a new start. They want fresh starts that are longer lasting with people. It's just that your connection is in a holdup at this point in time. Due to mostly the scribes' confusion, but you guys will help people get past their own stasis. You guys will help people fall into a slump. First, you're supposed to activate them to fall asleep a little deeper, and that sleep allows their mind and to connect with their soul. It allows their ego to connect with their soul so that they can harmonize the two. You see, the mind is upside down here. The monkey mind is turned off. And this person has clear thoughts. There's linearity to it. This is a more masculine form of spiritual sleep, so to speak. And then you have the feminine form of that spiritual sleep, where instead of being organized like it is down here, it's a disaster up here. But that's all about creation energy. And what's being created is a new beginning. And that's not just a new beginning for you guys, that's a new beginning for the collective to start personalizing their relationships and to dive into the confusion that relationships and connections cause for them, so that they can heal those situations and be able to find their own path in this world and be able to contribute in their own way. This energy is very contagious. You guys are contagious. Well, that is interesting. Oh my, what an interesting, and also we do want to note that it's challenging for you guys to be in this phase where you're focused on clarity here, and you're separated and you're not talking to one another. But know that it is highly needed at this point in time, and you've got amazing blessings coming your way with Jupiter. Your person, the scribe, if your person is the scribe, but there is a lot of mirroring going on. They're coming into blessings too, but it's like it's going to take them a little longer to even understand if they do even understand this connection the way that you do. I don't think that they would have those words for it, but they're trying to find the words. We saw the scribe writing. They're trying to find the words to communicate, and maybe they just don't know how to communicate. So let's get some advice for you. So you personally, if you're the networker, are raising your vibration, and the scribe is decreasing their vibration because they're releasing something from their life. But what they're releasing is so important and vital to their soul journey, which is also so important and vital to your personal connection, which is also so important and vital to the way that this connection impacts the entire collective. So we're shifting timelines here, and you guys are helping us shift timelines by helping us dive in deeper into the inner self and connecting more with source and our higher self. So that's beautiful. I love it. Let's see what we have to say about advice. The activated ally, absolutely. I think that that's you. This reminds me of Mercury, and now you guys are telepathically able to communicate with each other. But also, I feel like if you're the networker, your telepathy with other people in general is kind of going off the charts. Coming soon. Welcome to the next ascending age. Absolutely. I love that. And so you guys might even be in contact soon, because this process does feel like it's been happening for a bit. Wow. That's also 8, which is abundance. Your 11-year-old self, look at that. This is all about healing some inner wounds too. And I feel like it's the scribe who's now healing a lot of their inner wounds. If I don't get this damn thing straight, I'm going to go insane. But I already feel insane because I do tarot readings, so I'll go with that. And then another number, 16, because we have 16 up here. How can this be a wonderful win-win-win? Yeah, everybody's going to win in this situation, and it's just about the semantics as to how that's going to happen. And I do feel like somebody's going to pick up this mallet and hit the weight thing here, and ding, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner. I do. And this also reminds me of Kundalini and DNA. I feel like you guys, the two of you personally, your DNA is being activated from the sacral chakra and going up. And there's love there. There's love there. There's love in this connection, an unconditional love that you guys probably can't describe, but that you know is there. This is the only orange card that we have, by the way. The rest are blue, purplish. So, well, this is a combination. So, I want to thank you guys, pile number 1, for joining me for this reading. I love to find out how we can dive into... I'm noticing something here. I'm noticing moons. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. If I look at this as a moon, 4 moons within 4 moon cycles. So maybe that's 4 months. Moon cycle is 28 days. 11-year-old self. Master number 11. This looks like an 11. And then we had 22 up here. Yeah, you might be seeing 22s and 11s. But we have 16, 16 as well. So if that number makes any sense for you. Definitely. There's an awakening that's surely happening here. Orange reminds me of the sacral chakra. So sacral chakra is all about sexual energy. Crown chakra and third eye chakra is also activated here. I do feel like you guys are fully online. Well, you are. But the scribe isn't just yet. So when it comes to your connection and how it impacts the rest of the world, well, you guys are actually helping people ascend, because they're going to go in and internalize things. They're going to heal their childhood wounds. They're going to internalize their views about connections, and they're going to open their hearts up to love. But they can't do this without going into a period of sleep. But it's not motionless sleep. It's actually very active sleep that helps them understand. So pile number 1, I want to thank you guys for the work that you're doing, first of all, on yourselves, especially if you're the networker. Not to say that the scribe is not working on themselves, because they are. It's just in a different way. And I feel like if you're the networker, you kind of already internalized and did what the scribe is now about to do, which is kind of cut themselves off from people. You might still feel a little cut off from people, but it's in a different way. Like now it's by choice so that you can grow, whereas before it was by choice so that you could isolate yourself. And they're going into the isolation stage by choice so that they can isolate themselves. So you guys are definitely activators, and I want to thank you for first of all activating each other, and for pursuing knowledge about this connection, and for pursuing knowledge about spirituality, because you are on a soul journey, but you're definitely ascending. As a matter of fact, 8s come quickly, like 8 of Wands. This reminds me of energy from the 8 of Wands card in the Rider-Waite tarot deck, and I think that you guys are going to have another type of awakening. Look at this. This is the Ouroboros, and he's biting his tail. But it's going downwards, so there's a shift. Like, yeah, as one of you rises in vibration, the other decreases. And actually, I said you on the left here, the networker, were rising in vibration, and that this person was decreasing their vibration. And I think that we have that confirmation right there. So no judgment cast upon your person. They might engage in some sort of self-deprecating or self-destructive behavior, but no judgment should be cast, because it actually is part of their process. So we just want to offer them unconditional love, and offer you unconditional love, because there's a lot of A's. I don't know why. But anyway, and then win, that's 3. Sometimes I'll point out stuff that doesn't make sense to me, but if it makes sense to you, just go with it. Pile number 1, you're on the right track. You're doing a great job. And this connection is important to the rest of the world to help wake us up by putting us into a reflective slumber. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you in either, I just wanted to say another pile. So maybe another pile is also applicable to you for more mechanics about your connection, or for a different timeline that this connection is on. So, whoa, I just did the number 4. So maybe pile number 4 is the pile. Okay, maybe I'm just hearing that they'll be switched at that time. Really? Okay, never mind. We're gonna get to it. I love how they do this, mess up my stuff, because then my brain gets involved and I'm just trying to channel. So pile number 1, thank you again, and I'll see you soon. Pile number 2, you guys chose this lemon calcite mushroom. And we're going to dive into the semantics of your connection and take a look at what shifts are happening for you personally within this connection, and how that affects the collective timeline. For person number 1, we have the Hermit card. Light attributes are: seek solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. Shadow attributes are: withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments of others, refusing to help those in need. We also have number 8 with intuition, which is the water element, and it is represented by the stone aquamarine, which I love. And this reminds me of the Temperance card. Ooh, okay. For person B, we have the God card, Light attributes, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. Shadow attributes are despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. They also received the Liberator, with the light attributes being freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. And the shadow attributes are imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. Then they have number 4, which is half of number 8, by the way. Let's pull these down a little. With intention, it's the heart chakra, and moss agate. For the connection itself, we have number 6, which is light and the sun. Okay, let me get these. I feel like I want these to be like this. Sorry, how I put the cards actually changes the reading. So let me correct this. Okay, let us start over here with the Hermit energy. This person is going within themselves. They are doing a little bit of withdrawal, and there is some sort of creative project that they're supposed to be working on. But this person has been living in a state of fear, and they're about to be liberated by their, I just heard by this connection, but I was trying to say liberated from their fears. This Hermit person is actually highly intuitive. This is a very creative individual. And I would say that this is an empath who doesn't understand the difference between the feelings and emotions and energy that they pick up from others and their own. This individual has a difficult time balancing out emotions as well. This is a hyper emotional person. This person is in such a heightened emotional state, and that I'm getting memories that aren't mine. Like, this is due to like a lot of childhood trauma. This person could have been bullied, actually. Yeah, and kind of has like a disposition that's like, well, they didn't help me, they didn't take care of me, and is more focused on themselves, but it's out of a state of fear. This individual would be great at helping other people. The problem is it hurts. It hurts to help other people because you don't get back what you give. I feel like this person has been used and abused when it comes to their giving, and has experienced some narcissistic relationships, like true narcissism. Everybody is throwing out the word narcissist these days, but that's probably because more and more of them actually exist. And this person has encountered all of them. And I just heard all of them. It's not even funny. But it was the way that they said it. So this person has encountered all of them, like parental ones, maybe siblings as well that were narcissists, friends that were narcissists, as well as companions that were narcissists, romantic companions that were narcissistic. And it has caused this individual to go into a deep space. They kind of like have been sinking within themselves, and it hurts. It hurts. I definitely am feeling a lot of familial problems. And maybe this person is like ready to cut themselves off from family members because they have been so hurt by family members who have toxic and narcissistic tendencies. This is a very judgmental person, but it's not because they want to be judgmental negatively towards anybody. It's just because they've been so hurt. This is an individual who probably was not the best person growing up. Maybe there was a desire to be popular, and this person didn't want to be unpopular, and so they kind of acted out of character and did things that were not in alignment with their true soul, not in alignment with their personal beliefs. And I think that there's shame for that, and that this individual doesn't want to face that shame. I feel like this individual kind of also did picking on others because it was what they experienced and what was taught to them, and that they this Hermit person just hasn't fully changed the behavior, although they know that it needs to be changed in order for them to come into a better state of being and to be more balanced, which honestly is exactly what this connection is trying to do for this hermit person. It's trying to wake the hermit person up and show them that they've been in a state of imbalance for a long, long time, and that it's time for them to change, and that this hermit person also expects the worst. They have a very negative disposition, and they expect the worst in life. I am hearing woe is me, and that they've been a victim for sure, but they kind of continue to live in victim mentality. And so that's exactly the opportunities that they attract to them are more about victim mentality. I feel like this person is losing the electron situation. Like the electron is going closer towards the nucleus. So that this person can internalize everything and begin a healing process, because there's definitely a healing process that needs to happen. This person, I did also hear they have the gift of prophecy. So they can predict like what's going to happen very, very accurately. It's just that what they predict is like always negative, because that's what they're in tune with. But the universe and God and source and even their higher selves and all the other benefic beings in the world, we don't want you to be like that as a hermit. We want you to do the healing. So let's take a look at this God liberator, because this God liberator has actually given the hermit person a lesson of tough love. Like this God liberator person has also victimized the hermit person, but it's because they want the hermit person to be their best self, and they don't know how to help the hermit person become that. This God liberator person is definitely a nice person. They do have compassion. They have a higher way of thinking of things. It's just that when they're around the hermit person's energy, it drags them down into a much more negative space. And I think in the past, this God person did have control issues that made them a challenge to be with. And that they're actually working through that, because they do have good intentions. They do want love, and they want to express love to everyone. It's just that they are learning the difference between when severity is needed and when mercy is needed. If this person has children, they could be hard on their children. Definitely the disciplinarian type of individual, but that energy kind of like transmits over into their love relationships, because they feel like they have to be hard on their person in order to get their person up to a higher level of caliber. And that's because this God person is always striving for perfection. This God person is on a never-ending quest to be their best self, and honestly, it's taken over them so many times that they've had like a disconnect with the truth, with reality of situations. And they do kind of have a tendency to get on a high horse, but they actually have good intentions. So this God person's intentions are good. This hermit person's intentions, they don't have any intentions for anything right now. I feel like this hermit person is kind of going through a dark night of the soul, and that the God person wants to be the light and show this hermit person how to get out of that energy, because it's very obliterating energy. It can annihilate joy, and I don't think that the hermit person really experiences a lot of joy. I think that they expect the worst, and that's exactly what happens, because they manifest that. And before I continue on with this God liberator person, let's just get to this number 6 over here. This connection, what it's meant to do for the rest of the collective is to bring about some sort of impetus of healing, so that people who are in dark spaces like the hermit person in dark nights of the soul can actually find the light and turn that around. So this connection energetically is happening first and foremost for the hermit person to turn their perspective around and to see and expect better things, but also for the general collective to be able to do the same. This connection deals with depths of darkness that are very challenging, and the hermit brings that darkness, and the God person, the God liberator person, puts light on it so that it can be dealt with, so that light can be brought into the situation. And that's what the two of these energetically have going on for the rest of the collective. This connection shows the rest of the collective, even though the rest of the collective isn't exactly watching and doesn't see, how it impacts the rest of the collective is that it helps bring the darkness to the light for the entire collective, so that the entire collective can make the choice to move into that light energy, to be lighter, to feel lighter, to be happier, to find joy. Let's talk a little bit more about this God person. They are definitely here to free other people from outmoded beliefs. And that's exactly what this hermit person has. The hermit person has outmoded beliefs that are based on victimhood mentality. The God liberator person is here to help release those negative thought patterns. What they do, though, is this can be an overbearing and over-controlling person, this God liberator individual. It's because they know better. This is a very smart, like, I would say, like, this is a book smart type of person, and that they are in a hyper masculine energy, while the hermit person is in a hyper distorted state of feminine energy. Like, these are two different types of energies, and what they're supposed to do is balance that dark masculine energy and balance that dark feminine energy so that they can create a bright light and bring both of these into harmony. This God liberator person has had to be responsible for everything and everyone. They're the go-to person. They get shit done. And honestly, I would say that they're tired. This God liberator person is definitely in need of a vacation. This hermit person is too, but this hermit person could use a vacation instead of just sticking around their house all the time and isolating themselves in like these thralls of negativity. This hermit person should actually get out in nature. They should actually take, if they're going to take a vacation, they should take a vacation that puts them like on a lot of walks, you know, out in the trees. Instead of having these sticks build them in further into their isolation, they should definitely be walking throughout the day and experiencing sunshine. I feel like they have a vitamin D deficiency. That's a weird thing to say. But okay. I feel like they're very, very tired, and maybe all they want to do is sleep. And at this point in time, the hermit person doesn't really exactly want to deal with this God liberator person. I would say that the hermit person is moving away from this connection, but I'm also noticing here how there's a light being held. Like, this liberator person is trying to show this hermit person, hey, you can't be like this anymore. Like, you need to shape up, like, and change your mentality, change the way that you're seeing things, because you're the one who's bringing all the bullshit to you. And you know, a lot of people don't like the God liberator person because they tell people what the truth of a situation is. They can see the shadow side of things and they just bring it to light. And like, that's not easy for everybody to deal with. So I feel like this God liberator person is very critical. They don't mean to be critical in a negative way, but it just comes across that way. Like, they're very brutally honest. But like we said, they have very good intentions. They absolutely do. Their heart chakra is open. They have positive intentions. It's just learning how to be merciful is what they've got to do at this point in time, because they feel like they focus more on severity and delivering messages in a very harsh way. But I'm also seeing 3 stones right here, this moss agate, which kind of reminds me of the 3 of Pentacles card. And that is all about wanting to cooperate, wanting to work with others. While this hermit person, their energy is just depleted. Like, they need a miracle from the universe right now to bring them out of this. I just heard depression. But what would be nice, and what both of these parties actually want, even though they're not saying it, is they want to come together and they want to create something new and beautiful, with a lot of energy that brings joy, that brings happiness. These people are meant to be a light to the rest of the world, to deal with the dark side of things. And that's exactly what this connection does energetically. It helps bring up and stir up all of the depths of darkness within the collective so that they can be transmuted and dealt with. I don't think these two people are in a state of transmuting energy right now, but I think they're in a state of recognizing that the energy, the dark energy is there, and that something needs to be done about it. So if that sounds like your connection, let us go a little bit more into the tarot and see a few more details, not only about the connection, but about this timeline situation. How are you impacting the collective with your connection when it comes to the collective jumping timelines. It looks like the collective has some work to do. That's what it looks like. And that we are doing a shift. We're actually recognizing that there's work to do. So I want to thank you guys for dealing with this very harsh energy, because without you, we can't get to the next level. You have to recognize what is deep and hidden and down and the dark side of things. And then you have to, once you recognize it, then you can do something about it. And that is so important. Without this connection, the rest of us won't even be facing our demons. We won't even be facing our challenges. We won't be facing our fears, and we won't be facing our hopelessness. So thank you so much for being the connection that helps get us there. We have the 8 of planets in reverse. We have the Devil card in reverse. We have the 4 of rockets upright. Oh. We have the Lieutenant of comets. Oh, I am supposed to. We have justice. Okay, so when it comes to this connection is all about seeing how something is out of balance. And at some point in time, this card is going to go upright. And I think it's when the Hermit starts dealing with their shadow side and starts healing from it. Maybe goes to see a counselor, starts taking their walks, gets some vitamin D. And then that will inject. This reminds me of the drawing we did on the fridge with the nucleus in the middle and all the little electrons out on the orbital shells. Then what they're going to do is they're going to shift that balance. They're going to inject their energy, which means that the electrons get to absorb the energy and rise to a higher vibration. So right now, how this connection is impacting the collective is, hey, something's not right here. Things are out of balance, and there will be an injection made. This connection is going to help make that injection and create a new environment that stimulates those electrons, so that those electrons can absorb the energy and move into a higher state of vibration. So at this point in time, I would say both parties in this connection are existing within the lower vibratory states. And this Hermit person is definitely going inward. And so is the God Liberator person. So they are, but they're doing it in different ways. Like the Hermit person is dealing with the dark night of the soul. The God Liberator person is dealing with some sort of ego death and having to release control. So both parties are in a releasing state right now, which puts them in a lower vibration that's highly necessary for the rest of the collective, not just this connection, to heal, to recognize what needs to be healed. This is absolutely powerful. I love this. This is absolutely gorgeous energy, because it's needed and it's not easy to go through. So, and we need these types of connections for the rest of the collective, so that we can, as a collective, jump the timelines to get into the higher vibratory state. Now, when we're taking a look at this Ensign of planets, here is like the 8 of Pentacles. She's holding a world in her hand, and then we see again these orbits and these little electrons over here. And there is a lot of energy that is being absorbed at this point in time. It's all in the absorption phase, or I'm sorry, it's in the emission phase where these two are letting go. So why did I hear absorbed? So what are they talking? Oh, okay. So because then once that transpires, what will end up happening is some sort of celebration. I think that maybe around the holiday time, like Christmas, if you happen to celebrate Christmas, which is about a month away right now, that there's going to be some sort of happy reunion or happy union between these two people, where they meet up and they're excited to see each other, and that starts the shift to get this Justice card upright, to inject that energy in the environment so that this vibration can be raised, this connections vibration, but most particularly the Hermit's vibration. I think that the God Liberator person is going to have an easier time shifting, because they're not in such a low vibrational state. But the Hermit person, when you think about their electron is like right there. It wants to get into the nucleus. They definitely are going inside and going deeper. But that maybe the Christmas time is what I'm hearing will be a moment where these two can come together, have some sort of celebration together or some sort of reunion together, and then that changes the energy, not only of the connection, but for the collective in general. Thus, 15, the Devil card. The Devil card, as you can see, we have these two people and then somebody's looking over them. So this connection is definitely being watched. Maybe there is, I'm going to clarify that card. There's some sort of semantics that are here. The Ace of Rockets. Somebody is watching this connection and they are an impetus for change. I think that there's another person that's involved. It doesn't have to be like a third party in the way of like, oh, cheating or something like that. But there is another person who is connected to this connection or will be. And what they do is they help create the impetus for change. Let me just get one more. The Ensign of Comets, the Page of Cups, the Page of Cups. Oh, yeah, see, she's looking. She's looking. And this is a three-eyed fish. It almost looks like it has two heads too. She's looking. Yeah, somebody helps. Somebody comes in and helps this connection. It's in a good way. Maybe they speak the truth to both of you and then help you reunite. And then, oh, hey, there's, like this would be the Knight of Cups. It's like, oh, hey, you guys can start a new beginning. You just have to balance out these energies. There's some sort of celebration here. Like this is dancing. I feel like this being is also dancing. And this being is like, maybe this, I'm feeling a motherly figure involved in this connection, actually. Yeah, so maybe it's a motherly figure that kind of says something or does something that helps these two parties see things in a different way and start to transmute that, the more negative, the more dense, the harsher energies of this connection. Maybe the Hermit person has a mother that says something, or the God Liberator person has a mother or mother figure in their life that says something to each of them and helps them be a bit more introspective to start changing things and to see things in a more positive light and to see that, hey, we really like this connection. We do want to be happy in this connection. And that's where the spark transpires, like with this external person assisting for this connection. It's on behalf of this connection. I don't think it's somebody who's like interjecting to disrupt the connection. I think it's more so somebody that like does or says something, maybe a friend, maybe a motherly friend. Yeah. And then the two of you can celebrate. I feel like holiday season is pretty important here. I am being called to take one more card. The Emperor. And it is in reverse. This is actually the Venus symbol. The Emperor is typically represented with the planet Mars and associated with Aries energy. But in this particular case, they have Venus here. Oh, okay. Somebody gives in. Somebody gives in and they drop it. I feel like it's the God person that gives in and makes this a happier situation. Like they kind of relinquish some sort of control and they offer love instead. Put love into the situation is what I'm hearing. So I feel like this Emperor takes some steps to relinquish control, and when they do so, that actually helps the Hermit person chill out a little bit, because this Hermit person is hyper vigilant and the Emperor person is hyper controlling, and the Hermit person doesn't want to be controlled. They've had control as a part of their life like all the time. They're controlled by their emotions on a constant basis. And so by this Emperor person stepping back and like not worrying about having control of the situation, but just offering love instead, that helps this Hermit person relax a little bit, and these two can come together. They'll start to balance out this more negative energy, this hard to work with energy that the hermit person really carries. And actually, I think that the God liberator person will take on some of those energies onto their shoulder and then start transmute it. They do the transmuting. I feel like this is coming from his heart space, and he's taken this energy onto his shoulders here, and he's doing transmutation of those denser energies, which helps the hermit out big time. And it's okay if you're the hermit person, it's okay to need help to work through this. This is not simple stuff to deal with. A lot of people end up on medication for it. Maybe the hermit person has been on medication for depression or anxiety. And I feel like the emperor person can come and relieve that hermit person of some of that darkness that they carry. This emperor person can be relied upon, but they have to learn how to relinquish control. They have to learn to not be so demanding also, I heard. So when it comes to this connection, this is vital and important, and the success of this connection actually impacts the success of the entire collective, so that we can jump the timeline and reach a higher vibratory state as a collective together. This is going to take some time, but I do think that the holiday season looks promising for this connection. I do think that these two people are in contact with each other. I just think that the hermit person has pulled away a bit, which has caused the God liberator person to also kind of pull away a little bit. So, whoops, look at that. I just slammed you. Anyways, let's get some positive advice from the universe and all the benefic beings that love us and want to see our success. I think that you guys are on a path to success, whether you're the hermit person or the God person. I think that you know what needs to be done. You need to deal with these dark negative energies. So let's see what else they say for us. This is nice. And I say us because we're all going through it together. If you're going through it, we're going through it. Number 11, each evolutionary turn requires you to give up what you think you are. How applicable is that? And look at this. This vibration wants to go up, so it's going to happen. You are perfectly imperfect. And honestly, I am going to say I do believe that these two people think more so about their imperfections than they think about their perfections, and that there's not a lot of self-confidence. I think that the God liberator person has more self-confidence or exhibits more self-confidence, but they're not fully confident because there's some things about themselves that they just don't like. Deliver your greatest gift to the world. And I think you guys will. I think you guys absolutely will. And then we have coming soon. Welcome to the next ascending age. And this was also in pile number 1. Totally different semantics, totally different situation on 2 totally different timelines. But I think that you guys are going to be able to do the work that's required to transmute these really challenging energies that the hermit person puts all the weight on themselves to deal with, and that the God liberator person is going to help that hermit person out, help them come out of their shell, help them heal, offer them good advice, and also just be their rock. And I think that in so doing, what you guys do for the collective is that we all get to ascend to the next stage because we're vibrating higher, and that is part of the process to deal with the harshness, to deal with the challenges in order to get that higher vibratory rate. Also, I do see Christmas in here. There's a gift here. It does say to me, but whether you're the hermit or the God liberator person, I feel like gifts will be exchanged between each other, but also to themselves. They're going to start treating themselves a little better. So if you're the hermit person, get yourself a gift. If you're the God liberator person, get yourself a gift. And because you deserve it, because this is challenging stuff to work through, and we cannot do it without you. Thank you so much, pile number 2. This was a hard reading to deliver, but I feel like we did it in a good way. And I want to pat my spirit guides on the back for pointing out to me exactly what needed to be said. I appreciate them so much, and I appreciate you too. I will see you all in another reading. Hey, pile number 3, you guys chose this. Why do I want to say tiger's eye bear? And look at him. He's almost like, oh, did I do that? Or, oh, like he's realized something. He's realized something. And the song that I heard just before commencing this pile was, I'm waking up, I feel it in my bones enough to make da da da. Welcome to the new age, radioactive, or whatever, however that song goes. It's by Imagine Dragons. And I feel like there's a lot of dragon energy in this pile. A lot of fire energy. You might resonate with being a sun sign that is Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. Let's get into this reading. Person number 1 has the God card. The light attributes are benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. The shadow attributes are despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. Really? Okay, I guess it goes on this side. I wanted it on this side, but the Samaritan refines your capacity to help those you'd prefer to ignore, and the shadow attribute being exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. We also have number 28 with cognizance, represented by the planet Mercury, and the emerald. I'm noticing there's 2 eyes here. Oh, and white flowers. For what is going to be person A, we have the priest. Light attributes are facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. And the shadow attributes are violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. We have number 6 with deep knowing. This is the sacral chakra, and then sunstone. I'm also noticing these 2 pillars, which remind me of the, not the moon, guys, but I guess it's supposed to remind me of the moon. That's what they said. And then you see a moon right here. Oh, okay. Oh, there's actually 3 pillars. The supernal triad, if you know anything about the tree of life, the supernal triad would be the spheres of Kether, Chokhmah, and Bina. Oh, this person is online. This person is psychic and spiritually online. And they've come into a state of happiness. This person, I think, has had a Kundalini awakening and has experienced a state of bliss where they know the answer to everything is love. Wow. Okay. We're going to get into this more. Let me just create a slight bit more space here. For the connecting energy, we have number 16 in reverse, mountain, clarity. Okay, these guys have achieved something. And number 24, change with wind, the wind element. Ooh. All right. I'm feeling like a supernova, an explosion of energy. I already know exactly what the purpose of this connection is. And it's pretty fantastic, if you ask me. All of them are, and all of them are highly necessary for the evolution of all of our souls. All of these connections have a very big part to play in our, sorry, I'm just like so anal and anal retentive and OCD. Anyways, I do want to talk about the energy of this connection first. This connection started where both parties were asleep to their hearts, to the general knowledge about ascension. I don't think either of these people were psychically online prior to this connection. I think that both parties were overcoming so many personal hurdles. There was a huge, I just heard that they've climbed the mountain of success, but like these people were asleep. These people were asleep to the fact that their souls and that they're having a human experience, and these people were also asleep to this connection. I think that the 2 parties, if they're still not talking to each other, that's about to change, because they've come to some realizations. Oh goodness. Okay, now we're navigating over here. Oh, all right. I didn't expect to do that. This individual has had a God complex, person B side. This person, and I don't feel like this is you. I feel like you're the priest. This person had a God complex. They thought that they, in some way, shape, or form, were better than other people. And they were also a bit of a trapeze artist. It jumped from like one connection to the next. They didn't like to settle down. And of course, we're talking about love connections here. And this individual, they have a good heart. They are a naturally good person, but they weren't getting recognition for being a good human. And that's something that they want. That's actually something that they would like to have happen for them. They want other people to see them as a good person. But I think that in the past that they were very overbearing, and that they thought and that they were disconnected from self. I don't think that this God Samaritan person has fully woken up yet, but they're coming to knowledge about this connection itself, and they do want to communicate. They actually want to travel towards this priest person and reconnect if they have yet to do so already. They're seeing things in a totally different light. I see a full moon and a new moon in here, because the new moons are dark, where the earth blocks out the sun's light onto the moon. And then the full moons are bright, where the sun's light is shining directly on the moon. And this person I just heard a miracle is happening in this individual's life, this God Samaritan person, and they're seeing their true value. They're learning that everything that they've experienced in their life doesn't make them guilty per se. It doesn't make them a bad person. They're learning about their own sense of purity. They also have a lot of knowledge about this priest person, but it's psychic knowledge. They have claircognizance. Their psychic capabilities are coming online, where they're starting to just know things. Whereas this priest person has had a deep knowing about a lot of things, to include this connection, for a very long time. And I don't think these two have been on the same page, energetically speaking. I feel like they were when they first met, and then some sort of earthquake happened. It's not how we say it. Some sort of change happened to prevent these two. It was like a divine intervention to prevent these two from communicating with one another. And it was absolutely necessary for this God Samaritan person to actually come into a state of self-knowledge about their ego. And it was necessary for this priest person to become the priest person, actually, and to become the more feminine energy and embrace their femininity. Whereas this God Samaritan person had a distorted sense of masculinity and was actually behaving out of toxic feminine behavior. This God Samaritan person actually needed people to help them get out of this particular type of energy that they were in. It was very egoic. Whereas the priest person is now out of ego. Okay. All right. So back over here to this God person. This God person is stepping up to the plate. This God person could, a new moon. I'm feeling a lot of Sagittarius energy, I'm not gonna lie. A new moon that is going to wake up their third eye. And they're actually looking around for this priest person. They want to communicate. I feel like they're taking steps to learn how to communicate more successfully in general, but particularly with this priest person. At this point in time, this individual has kind of closed themselves off so that they could rise to this challenge of learning how to communicate. I don't think that this God Samaritan person knew how to communicate very well, particularly with the priest person. They didn't know how to tell the priest person what their thoughts were. Honestly, because I don't think that they fully knew what their thoughts were. And now they're realizing that there's value in their opinions. But maybe people in the past didn't want to hear what they had to say. Maybe they were shut down by females in particular, or maybe a female made them feel inferior and stupid in their life, unintelligently stupid, or stupid for who they were or how they expressed themselves, and then they just shut off communication. They didn't want to talk anymore. They felt like it was unnecessary because nobody's going to listen anyways, and not only that, they were constantly misunderstood. This priest person is fully awake to what this connection is. This is a very powerful connection. This priest person is fully online. They are fully awake, and they are helping other people already. This person is learning how to serve their purpose for the collective. This person knows that they belong to a collective, whereas this God Samaritan person doesn't exactly fully know that yet, but they're starting to see the interconnectivity of everything. I don't think that this God person understands why they're constantly thinking about this priest person, because let's be honest here, they are. And they want this situation with the priest person to change. They just don't know what they want to change, except for the fact that they want better communication, or communication, period. Because I think at some point in time in the past, these two disconnected and weren't communicating. And I think that the universe is imploring the God Samaritan person to actually move towards the priest person. But the God Samaritan person isn't exactly doing that. What they're doing is they're trying to magnetize this priest person back in. This God Samaritan person has control issues. I think a lot of things after these two met, like their lives entirely changed, whereas the priest person's life got better, the God Samaritan person's life got quote unquote worse. And that the priest person knew somehow that their life was getting better because of their interaction with the God Samaritan person. Whereas the God Samaritan person was like, why is my life falling apart since I met this priest person? Like, this priest person gives me weird vibes. This energy is too intense. I don't even want to connect with it. And like the God person kind of just went away. But they bounce back and forth into the priest person's life, or they have done so. And I gotta pull this away from the table because it's annoying me. I feel like both parties are annoyed at the current state of this connection, but both parties also annoyed each other. And yet there was still some sort of magnetism. Like, they know that each has a significant role to play in their life. I think that the God Samaritan person kind of came to that recognition early on, like maybe before these two stopped talking, and that they knew that the priest person was an important individual and had a special role to play in their life, but that the God Samaritan person didn't want to change at all. And what ended up happening was the changes that the universe imposed, because they did have to be imposed on the God Samaritan person, because the God Samaritan person didn't want change, period. And that the universe imposed that change to help the God person wake up and to start coming into their own sense of knowing. I just saw 1313. These two had a lot of hurdles to jump in order to even connect in the first place. But also, I feel like the priest person is the one that does have clarity about this connection, and that the God Samaritan person does not. They just know that there's something. And they might be afraid to dive into exactly what that something is. Now, the winds of change are definitely coming to this connection. Everything that was will no longer be, and then everything that will be will change again. There's going to be a constant change. Oh, look at this. This is a spiral. When you look at that, and the spiral reminds me of the Fibonacci sequence. Okay. So the whole key of this connection was to change these people's internal energy, to get it to rotate in a clockwise fashion, to go to more towards universal will, and where both of these parties had to lay down their egoic natures, their egoic desires. And that was very challenging. But I think that the priest person knows that they're working with a higher force that is way beyond them. They're working with source. They're working with all these divine beings. This person gets downloads from divine beings all the time, and they know that. This person is now a spiritual person, where I think that in the past they might have been a lot like the God Samaritan person. In the past, this priest person, like in their immature years, I don't know, maybe when they were drunk or something. It's okay. I don't mean to laugh, but I do. Because these are weird things that I get, but like maybe like when this priest person was drunk or high or on something, like they had psychic capabilities, and they kind of just spouted off some of the things that they saw or knew, and it made other people uncomfortable, and like they came across as some sort of fake psychic or something like that. or they thought, or they had imposter syndrome about being psychic, and they were actually dead on all the time, but they just didn't know that. And then they shied away from it because like being psychic is no fun, because it's very challenging. It's not what our brains are designed to accept. But now the priest person is fully psychically online. They have a very deep knowing, and they have a deep knowing about this connection also. I feel like this person has transcended and like crossed the abyss. They've dealt with the sphere of Da'ath, which is a very interesting sphere. It is a sphere, and yet it's not a sphere on the tree of life. It would be the 11th sphere. Maybe this person is a life path 11. And maybe they've investigated some sort of Kabbalistic type of mysteries. Either way, this individual has definitely dived into the spirit world. They've dealt with a lot of their shadow sides, and I think that they had their psychic capabilities even as a child, and that this was an intriguing and seductive type of realm for them. Like maybe they were interested in Ouija boards, like the more dark side of things, about spirituality when growing up. Maybe they were haunted a lot, but now this individual has come into this beautiful bright light. I feel like they've definitely had their crown chakra activated and had this Kundalini awakening where all their chakras came online and were awakened. And that's because they interacted with the God Samaritan person. The power of this connection is pretty amazing. What they're supposed to do, these are the way showers. These are the light workers that sometimes don't even know that they're light workers, especially this God Samaritan person. I feel like they are not in tune with the spiritual world as far as like from their brain is concerned. And this God Samaritan person wouldn't even know what a light worker is. But the priest person does. And the priest person's energy is like leading this connection towards change, because the priest person is very focused on serving their purpose and helping others. They're definitely a channel of spiritual energy. I feel like this person hears things all the time, hears frequencies, sounds, voices, whatever, and not from a schizophrenic point of view, but just from like, they can hear the matrix doing its dial up in the background. This person knows that they're living in a matrix, whereas this God Samaritan person doesn't even know that the matrix exists, but they are working within the constraints of it, and they're manipulating the matrix. And that happens to be because the priest person's energy, whatever the priest person is doing, it impacts the God Samaritan person energetically from a spiritual perspective. Right now, this God Samaritan person is definitely in a period of isolation. They're dealing with a lot of shadow sides, and they're becoming alchemical. They're in an alchemical process, a spiritual alchemical process to take and transmute negative energies into something more valuable and more meaningful. And they are going to end up offering that to the world. This individual, I'm really, there's a lot of Aries energy also here, a lot of Leo Sagittarius energy, where they are, they might be very physical, a very physical person. They need to expend physical energy. This would be a highly sexualized individual too, but for some reason I'm feeling like that is kind of like on the back burner right now as they work through these challenging shadow sides that they have. They're actually starting to face their challenging shadow sides and work with them. This is like the dark side of the moon, I guess. It's, and at some point in time, once they work within these shadow sides and they navigate it, they will end up seeing and generating some sort of pearl of knowledge for themselves as well. And the more that the priest person focuses on themselves and takes care of their spiritual role in this world, which is to help the collective wake up, both of these people are here to wake other people up, particularly other types of souls like them. There's a very finite amount of souls that are just like these people, and they are meant to wake not only each other up, but other souls just like them, because those other souls, they're almost all awake, actually. And that's what's changing the earth. That's what's changing the collective. These people are the pioneers of the change, because in the process of waking other people up, they're also waking up, and they're serving their purpose, and they're becoming more in alignment with their soul and the truth of their soul. These individuals really know each other, whether or not they think that they do. Like, I think that they both get information about each other in their personal lives. Maybe they have visions of one another. It's the priest person that's like really online here. And the priest person is living from a state of joy and a state of abundance. And they're a master manifester, and they're creating beautiful things in their life right now. The God Samaritan person is just coming online to the fact that they can even manifest anything that their heart desires. But it's a tricky situation for them because they're manifesting fully, but they're manifesting both positive and negative, quote unquote, things in their life. And they're learning how to focus on the positive to manifest more of that. I also am hearing netter. Ancient Egypt had these beings that they called the netters that knew how to navigate space and time. And this God Samaritan person is constantly astral traveling and visiting this priest person. I feel like the priest person knows how to astral travel, but is kind of sticking to themselves. They're very protected by the divine. This is a very divine soul. And this one soul here that we have, it's very divine. And like there's a huge balance going on now that is like upper echelon, it's upper level. And but it's just the beginning, because this God Samaritan person is finally coming online. And they're going to start seeing that there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and how to manifest that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, whatever the pot of gold may be. Whereas this priest person is like manifesting pots of gold daily. They're creating universes just by thinking of it. I love this priest person. And they're actually in a very serious energy right now. The priest person is in a very serious mentality where they're serving their purpose and they're doing what needs to be done. And they're trying not to focus so much on this connection. The God Samaritan person wants the change in this connection. I feel like these two had a tower moment and that there was an ending here, but the God Samaritan person is now seeing things in a different light. And we talked a lot about this God Samaritan person. So I feel like as far as this connection is concerned, the priest person, you've got the deep knowing and everything, whereas the God Samaritan person is finally just coming online to the fact that there is something bigger here and that they are a part of it. I don't think that they fully understand what that is yet, and that they want to draw this priest person back to them to discover more. So if that sounds like your connection, if you're not really in communication with this God Samaritan person, but I feel like most of you will resonate with the priest person. Let us dive into the tarot, which I really like this tarot. The first time I got it, I looked at these little words that are on there. They're all cryptic. And then I got a download to do a love message about, but utilizing cryptology. So at some point in time, we're going to be using decoder rings, y'all. So that'll be coming up in the future. As we know by now, if you've looked at my past readings, I don't bridge very well, but I definitely clean and shuffle my decks in between, all the readings, and so they are shuffled well. If you don't think so and you have something to say about it, because some people do, I don't care. So, I'm just me. All right. What else can we learn here about pile 3's connection? The Emperor. The 3 of Rockets. Oh. Yeah. Okay. The 5 of planets. The Justice card at reverse. And the Day Captain of Comets. Okay. Okay. Yes, I don't. Okay, so, and let's clarify that. The Emperor, the Knight Captain of Rockets. Okay, yeah. This God Samaritan person has definitely suffered some ego deaths, and they're learning about self-love more so than anything else. They want to take it upon themselves to reinvigorate some life into this connection, but they don't know how to do that right now. This is the Knight Captain of Rockets, which rockets are Juan's energy, and he's in the driver's seat, but like he's not driving, he's just having fun. This person has had an ego death, and they want to make a love offer actually to this priest person because they miss them. With the Three of Rockets here, we can see that the Three of Rockets in reverse, they miss this priest person, although I don't think that they understand why. I feel like they're looking out for this priest person and that they want to say hi to them. But I think that the priest person might be involved with someone else. The Ten of Rockets. Yeah, this is a very stressful situation for them. They want to reach out, but they can't. You see this rocket? It's like tied to this crystal here, and it can't do anything. It can't leave. It's trying to leave. This reminds me of the atoms with the electrons. So a shift, this God Samaritan person wants a shift in this connection. They want to raise the vibration. They want to make it happier. They're not happy with the way that things are. We can see that here with the Five of Planets in reverse. This is also about missing each other. Fabrilife? Is that what that says? Yeah, these two people miss each other, and it's kind of like, what do we do now? We're not talking. Wow, there's a lot of not talking going on today. Then we have this Justice card that's in reverse, and I want to clarify that because things are definitely out of balance in this connection. The Six of Rockets. Oh, this is going to be successful. These two people are going to balance this out. They're going to balance this the energy of this connection out, and that's going to have an impact on the entire collective. Look at that. They're like, yeah. I also think that they will individually earn positions of power and more money as they balance out these masculine and feminine energies. This Day Captain of Comets is sitting here with rings on, and he's in the rain, but he's smiling. And that's in reverse. The Comets are like pentacles. So I feel like this is the King of Pentacles. And there's been, these two deserve more out of life than what they're getting financially. And I think that they're about to come into that. They're starting to create success for themselves. And the wind of change, what's changing is their personal circumstances first and foremost. Let me get one more. The Six of Comets, the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, they're going to be offered positions. They're rising up in the professional world. Both of these individuals are. And, you know, in so doing, they're going to actually come into contact with more and more people and be able to vibrate in a higher state, especially this priest person. Their vibratory rate is pretty skyrocketed. It's off the charts. And I think that's impacting the God Samaritan person to have more and more ego deaths so that they could create some sort of personal change for themselves, which they didn't feel good enough for the priest person to begin with. If we could just touch on that for some reason. And and if either is involved in a legal affair, like, they'll be fine. It'll go in their favor. But these two parties miss each other. We have two cards here that tell me that these two parties miss each other and that they're not currently in contact with one another, most likely. But that the universe is about to give them a gift of a new beginning, but that's also professionally, and that these two will be able to like rise to some sort of professional level personally. Definitely going to get a raise or a prominent new position that puts them in charge of things, and more money. Yeah, I'm seeing more money, but this is necessary. This is necessary. Why is it that we have a change transpiring that's monetary and professional, that's impacting two separate individuals in a connection that they're not really talking to each other, but both parties want change and they're both psychically connected to one another? why is it so important to annotate here about the financial and professional rewards that they're about to receive? I want to pull these other cards out because I feel like the answers are going to come from this deck. And when these two impact the collective, like, it's an explosion. These two are waking people up. These two are helping other individuals to wake up, especially the other souls that are like theirs, although not all souls are like this one. And these two are meant to be the way showers, and they're meant to be in positions that help them help others. Both of these parties are meant to help others. The activated ally, yeah, I'm sure that this priest person is definitely activated. Both parties activated each other onto a very big spiritual journey. Remember we talked about manifesting? Write this into reality. And I think that's exactly what these two are doing. Each revolutionary turn requires you to give up who you think you are. Yeah, I feel like this God Samaritan person is in the process of raising their vibration and realizing who they truly are and how to express that here, not only within the context of this connection, but to the rest of the world. Whereas this priest person has already done that, and they've led the way for the Samaritan person. Let's do another one. Close your eyes to open your heart. Yeah, that's very nice. So these people are going to help guide other people to open their heart chakras, because so many people are closed off. These people are teaching other people unconditional love. They vibrate together at such a high rate that they show the rest of the world unconditional love just through their vibratory response to even existing within the confines of this third dimensional reality. These two people, this priest person knows that there's more realities than this. This God Samaritan person doesn't exactly fully know that yet, but what's happening is the priest person has already opened their heart, already closed their eyes, their crown chakra is open, their third eye chakra is open, and they are fully online. There's 4 eyes here, and they're all different, and like these people are starting to see new perspectives. I feel like this priest person has seen that they've been activated a long time ago by this God Samaritan person, and that things are actually going to change. The God Samaritan person had the eyeballs up here, so they're the ones really coming online and finally opening their heart. When they do that, such an energetic shift is going to take place for the collective that helps open up all of the other masculine's heart. Oh, that's beautiful. I feel like this priest person knows how to write something into reality. They're the creator of this. And again, I'm seeing this spiral happen, just like it did up here. I like synchronicities. I'm seeing this spiral happen, and that's all about like divine will. Okay, so this priest person knows how to connect with God, with source itself, and with all the other benevolent beings in order to help create Shambhala. These two are going to help create Shambhala on earth, but it has to start with activating other people to first of all wake up, and second of all, for divine feminine individuals, whether they're one soul or not, to awaken to their divine feminine self and their divine feminine powers and accept them and behave in a divine feminine light, whereas they're also supposed to assist by waking up divine masculines, whether you're one soul or not, to open their heart, because the divine masculines have very closed off heart chakras, and that's what this connection does. It actually awakens the others just like them, which in turn changes the world, so that more people can come online, more souls can come online and understand they're living in a matrix and having a soul experience. This is really amazing. These two people together raise the entire vibration just by existing. They don't even have to connect anymore. They've done enough. Like, just existing is going to give them the capability that they need to impact the rest of the world. The more this priest person stays in alignment with their purpose, the more this God Samaritan person will wake up and become cognizant of the fact that there's so much more out here. And I'm noticing that this clarity, this mountain card, has been hidden here in this reading. And so the clarity has already happened for the priest person. It's closer to the priest person, but the God Samaritan person is coming online with clarity. So pile number 3, that has been your reading. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing the work that you've done. I feel like most of you are going to resonate with the priest person, but you guys have done a really great job, because if not for the work that you did, if you're the priest person, this God Samaritan person would never come online. And that in turn would keep the collective asleep. And we need everybody awake. So, because that's how heaven on earth happens, when we all wake up, or we choose to, when we're all on the path at least to waking up. So thank you so much for your diligent efforts. You're doing a great job. You guys are clearly in communication with each other. You're on fire. It's happening all the time. And I do feel like the priest person has a lot more vivid dreams now, and that they're about the God Samaritan person, because the God Samaritan person's like, listen, I want to talk to you, but... And they show a different side of themselves. See this card in the wind? It has this face, but that's her face. So like, they put up a front. Yeah, they put up a front. They don't let this priest person see who they truly are, but the priest person already sees it, because they just know. They have that deep knowing. Thank you, pile number 3. That is your reading for today, and I hope to see you again. Hey, pile number 4, you guys chose this star. I don't know what it's called, but it's this. If you know what it's called, let me know. All right, so pretty interesting reading so far, actually. And I forgot to tell pile number 3 what state they're vibrating in, but it's a higher one, just in case you came from there. So one of the people in this connection has the judge archetype. Excuse me. Balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. And then shadow attributes are offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. Sorry, I just had some stuffing. Then we have the rebel card, which the light attributes are challenges authority to affect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve their inner needs. The shadow attributes are rejects legitimate authority out of anger and rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. Then we have cognizance with Mercury and Emerald, number 28. And we have trust, number 31, with Pallas, which is an asteroid, and Ammonite, which is a fossil. This person got a lot of cards, so I'm kind of just like trying. Okay. The judge, the rebel. Okay, whatever. I guess this is how this is going down. And then we have, for the other person, we have thief, the light attribute, sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. And the shadow attribute, stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers that you think you lack. And they have number 23, an air element with adaptability, and lace agate. Put this right here. For the connecting energy, we have number 5, to make equal, the equator. And we have number 15, home, earth, which is in reverse. So let's analyze this a little bit. And actually, I want to shift my camera. Sorry, I don't have any adenoids, and so whatever I eat goes up my nostrils, and it's very annoying. I had them out when I was 16 with my tonsils. That's not important. But anyway, I want to start over here with the thief person, because this thief person is actually completely misunderstood. This thief person doesn't just show people what their worth and their value is. They actually naturally have a tendency to show people what they need to work on. You know, what other people need to work on. And those are hard truths for people to understand. This person not only experiences consistent change in life, like all the time, it's like tower moment after tower moment, but in addition, they create tower moments in other people's lives. This is a highly contemplative individual, a very pensive person, really, really intelligent. Like, they're so smart, I can't take it. And they're learning how to tune their frequencies. They're learning how to, because of all the tower moments, they've had to become exceptionally adaptable to life. So like, this person constantly deals with change, and 2 + 3 is 5, which is the number of change numerologically. But I'm also noticing these little tuning things. It's almost like on the side of a guitar, or what we used to tune the clystrons when I worked on a track 170 in the Air Force. We tuned the frequency by changing the size of the cavity, and that's exactly what this does. The strings of a guitar get tuned when you tighten or loosen these little pins right here. So this person can naturally tune into things, but they also set the pace, they set the tune in their life and in other people's lives. And I just noticed how dry my cuticles are. That's all of the washing of dishes and cooking I did for the holiday. I feel like this person is easily distracted. This person could be considered to have like ADHD, but it's just because there's so many thoughts that they have to keep up with all the freaking time. This person's brain never takes a break. They're very, very communicative, and they've ascended to a level of knowledge that makes it easier for them to deal with change. I'm not saying that they're like a fully spiritual person at this time, but they do know that there's more to life than this. This individual may have had other people take from them. Like, other people may have taken their ideas and put their name on it when it was this person who came up with the ideas to begin with, or even reports at work, like stole this person's work at work and like put their name on it and presented it to like executives or something like that. This individual has not been highly affectionate throughout life, but they want to be. They are a very creative person. I'm hearing visionary. But being around them is very intimidating because they're so smart. They hide their heart. They don't wear it on the sleeve, okay? And they're in the process, like, they are going through a balance of masculine and feminine energies where their third eye chakra is coming online. And it's also activating their crown chakra, where they're being connected to the universe. But I don't think that this person would say that about themselves. Sorry, this person is a beam of light in the world. It's just, they're definitely incognito. They don't show you who they really are, but they have feelings. Oh, well, I guess you're the rebel judge person. They have feelings for you if you're the rebel judge person. This thief person has feelings for the rebel judge person. And they don't want the rebel judge person to know that yet. This person has a lot of changes that they still need to make in their life. They're on their way up, you know, in some fashion or another. They're on their way up. I'm on my way up. Moving on up, da 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 da. The Jefferson song, like, I can't. Finally got my piece of the pie. Whatever that is, I don't know. But that song I just heard, and so they are moving on up, and it's just taking them a little time. They have so many webs of deception around them, though. They are dealing with very deceptive people who do steal. And I think at one point in time, this person, not that they were a kleptomaniac, but they stole too. And that they're ashamed of that and they wouldn't want anyone to know. Now, what they're doing, what they're energetically doing to this rebel person is completely changing the game for the rebel person. The game of life. This rebel person, this rebel judge person, first of all, they were very judgmental, and they're learning how not to be, okay? They're learning to see people and accept people for who they are and what they are. But also, they're learning to see and accept themselves for who and what they are. This rebel person invokes change that makes other people uncomfortable. But so does this thief person. This thief person does it by showing the rebel person what needs to change within the rebel person as far as self-love is concerned, because the rebel person didn't have self-love. And now they're learning how to cultivate that because of their interaction with the thief person. This rebel person has been taken advantage of by authority figures. And there was a point in time where the rebel person was a rebel without a cause. But now they're learning what their cause is, because even though they were considered like a rebel without a cause, they actually had a cause, and they're learning what that cause is. Now that cause has changed throughout the course of time as far as the semantics are concerned, but really what the rebel's cause is, hey, I deserve respect. You need to respect me. I'm not somebody you can just shit on, because I feel like the world, when it comes to authority figures, has shat on this rebel. And that's kind of what made them turn into a little bit of a rebel. This rebel person has done some work to get rid of, like, they might have been, very religious, whether Islamic, Christian, whatever, and they were very devout. And I think that that's changed now, that they no longer find any resonance with organized religion, and that they're out there seeking meaning on their own. I do think that they're in a space where they don't feel as connected to God, but they are. We all are, because we all are not only a part of God, we are God. This rebel person had life very unfair for them. There was not a fair distribution of power in their world. And I would say that also comes from a professional perspective. They had legal troubles, perhaps in the past, that they had to deal with. And I just heard they're finishing something up right now that was not fair to them. Maybe a judgment didn't go as they hoped it would, or they were judged unfairly, even in a court of law. But this rebel person, and maybe this person did. I just heard perjury, but like I don't know. But it was all in defense to not be taken advantage of, because the situation was going to be unfair to them. I don't think that they went out there and was like, oh, I'm gonna perjure myself just for the sake of doing so that I don't take accountability. I think it was, if they did such a thing, it would have been more so from a self-protection measure. And a lot of people have also judged this rebel person, and they judged this rebel person incorrectly. This rebel person has a hard time trusting people, and they have a capability of seeing patterns in shapes and numbers and going with what that information tells them. And like, that's how they figure things out. They see a pattern, and they've seen a pattern within this connection as well. They've seen the thief's behavioral patterns, and they're very apprehensive of interacting with the thief person. But they're both interested in each other, and both parties want this connection to be balanced. Both parties want this connection to have a fair distribution of power in it. This judge rebel person also is waking up to a lot of inner knowledge within themselves, and they find that they're working on some very challenging shadow sides that, once they work through it, those shadow sides like get transmuted into positive energy. And that's going to make this judge rebel person a far more balanced person within and of themselves. They're learning how to trust themselves, and they're learning how to trust their gut instinct. And the thief person is learning how to be more adaptable, because the change is coming at such a swift rate to them right now that they can't even keep up with it. And I do feel like the thief person is a bit exhausted from all of the change that they've had to deal with, and they're kind of like, can this just stop already? Like, I'm not interested in change anymore. I would be happy if things were just peaceful, if I could be like the rebel and just chill on my freaking couch on a branch. The rebel person might be a good gardener, by the way, and they are a good judge of character, which is what gets them caught up with this thief, because they're confused by the thief person. They don't know what to make of the thief person, because the thief person might say one thing and then behave a totally different way, which forces the rebel judge person to introspect and see what's going on with themselves, and like, why doesn't this thief, are they interested in, or why is this thief person behaving in this fashion? Because this rebel judge person is like, I know that they are interested in me. I know that like these emotions go both ways. So what the hell is going on over here? Like, does the thief want me or want to be with me? Are they interested in me or are they not? It's very confusing because the thief definitely has feelings, but they're not disclosing that. Instead, whatever the thief says forces this rebel person to take a look at themselves and to analyze their own intuition. Like, they're being forced to rely, the rebel judge person is being forced to rely on their own personal sense of intuition. They're also being told to kind of keep what they discover through their intuition to themselves at this point in time. I do see another spiral here with the Fibonacci sequence, as if it's going this way. So right now, the rebel judge person is not only behaving against what would be considered divine will, because they're kind of forcing this connection, but also the universe is teaching them patterns within themselves that they have to change, and to learn how to trust themselves and their own intuition better. And that in trusting themselves and their own intuition better, they can more easily change patterns because they're not relying on anything external for proof. Which I think the rebel is actually looking for some sort of proof that the thief actually has interest in them or cares about them. Now, about this connection here. While both parties want some balance and some harmony, they are two entirely different characters. These individuals are very, very different, and yet they're kind of similar, okay? And they do both care for each other. I feel like the darker complexion here is with the thief, because the thief is holding the world right here. And this rebel person has had the world stolen from them and taken from them just as much as the thief person has. And that this thief person is like, I can give you the world. And wants to, and it's almost like whispering in the rebel's ear that they would like to give them the world and that they do have tender feelings for them, but that the thief person is just not ready yet because too much in their life is changing. They're not in a position to be able to give anyone anything, let alone themselves. They're actually learning how to rely on themselves through these great times of change. But they do have feelings, and they do care about this rebel person, and they see that the rebel person might be kind of saddened by this connection, but they can't exactly say that. Now, the rebel person in turn has to be a judge of character when it comes to the thief person and be like, okay, is the thief person, do they have bad intentions? Do they have good intentions? Do they have any intentions? And they also feel like they're being treated unfairly by this thief person. But what they don't understand is that the thief person has so much going on right now that they can't even like clean their plate. Like, there's so much going on in this thief person's life that honestly, they're being a little lazy about dealing with, and it's impacting this connection. Clearly, both parties want to make this situation in a far more balanced and harmonious light, but at this point in time, they're being taken apart. They're being put on different paths. But at some point in time in the future, they will be able to come back together if they so choose. It's just they both have individual journeys to go on. This rebel judge person is going on a journey of self-knowledge and of trusting themselves. Okay, and this rebel person has to go on a journey to learn how to deal with everything that life throws them. Because no offense, the thief person. No offense on the thief person. They're acting a little weak. They're not wanting to deal with their shit. The rebel person, though, is fully charged and is ready to deal with their shit. And they just don't know how to trust the information that's coming to them. And I'm also talking about like telepathic information and psychic information, because this thief person is definitely whispering telepathically to the rebel person, like, hey, You can do this. And this is also the number 5. The thief person clearly wants change in this situation. And the rebel person, also, I think that these two parties might be moving or like changing routes and need to reestablish a home base. And I think that goes for both of them. Changes within the domestic scene or family environment are happening that are preventing these two from coming together. Maybe even legal situations that have to do with a home, children, or family are still resonating at this point in time, preventing these two from being able to fully give to this connection. And I do believe that there's going to be a point in time in the future where those things that are on the thief's plate will finally be dealt with, but they have to do it. And then those things that the rebel judge person is dealing with internally about trusting themselves and even allowing themselves to trust another person, that has to happen internally for the rebel judge person in order for the two to come back together and establish a far more harmonious union. I do see that the situation is unfair to both parties at this time. Like maybe the thief person thinks that the rebel person said things that were very judgmental of the thief person, and so they don't feel like they were treated fairly. They feel like they were misjudged and prejudged. And then for the rebel judge side, they feel like they were treated unfairly because they wanted to give to this connection, and yet the thief person was not in a place to receive what they were willing to give. So if that sounds like your connection, then we are going to tune in-to the tarot and find out more like about what, okay, I'll take them. Find out more about what, excuse me, what this dynamic actually means for the collective, not just the two of you. And I'm going to see what your electrons look like. Are they vibrating higher or are they going lower? And I'm actually going to say that both parties are going to be in a state of emission, but I want to see that in the cards, versus absorption, which means go internally and resonate at a lower vibration so that they can give a higher vibration. These parties have to deal with things that are external to themselves, and so it's external situations really seem to be the focus here, and getting rid of judgment about external situations and just finalizing external situations. So these two parties are definitely, the connection is impacted by external influences, and I think that we're going to see how that impacts the collective. Yeah, advancement. Yes, that'll be the first card, advancement, which would be the Chariot card. Then we have the 7 of Rockets, which is the 7 of Wands. Then we have the 9 of Comets, which is the 9 of Pentacles. 15, the Devil in reverse. Oh. And then the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah. Is it Pentacles? No. It's not Pentacles. It's, no, those are Cups. Those are Cups. Okay, I had to remember right quick. The 8 of Cups. Yeah, these two have to walk away from each other for now to go on a more spiritual journey and to be reflective and look inside themselves. Yes, this is not going to take off at this point in time, but it's very, very important that this activity happens. So both parties need to go on their own for a little while for the spiritual journey to transpire so that they can come to some personal realizations and get rid of this residual stuff that I just heard nonsense that they're dealing with. So something unfair is going on with both parties, by the way. And in order for this to take off, they have to persevere through these external challenges. Okay, and then each party has to learn that they are the primary person in their life that they need to make happy. See, she's wearing a number 1 right here. This is the 9 of Cups. Like, they have to serve themselves and find out what makes them happy on their own, not within connection. So these people are learning independence and how to stand up for themselves for sure. And that's going to help the general collective learn these lessons too, because when we go off and we dream and we get out of our bodies and we're on the astral realm, we're communicating with one another. We're not just communicating with like other pieces of ourself or our higher self, etc. We're communicating with one another because we're a collective. And we're designed to do this together. This whole human earthly experience, it's all of us or none of us. We all create heaven on earth or it ain't happening. And what these two people are doing right now is learning self-love and learning what makes themselves truly happy, and to get rid of the extraneous details in life that do not serve them, that are not in their favor. And they have to learn this separate, because it's a little too personal when the thief says something to the rebel, and it's a little too personal for the thief that the rebel wants to change the thief's life. You know, the thief is like, I'm already going through so many changes. I don't want help with this change. Like, you know, and go take care of yourself, and you're not as great as you think you are. Well, the rebel is just like, whoa, hold on a second here. You know, why am I getting that type of treatment? So now each person needs to know how to fight their own battles, because I think the rebel judge person was trying to tell the thief person how to fight their battles, and that the thief person was like, hello, look inside yourself. Okay. Like, you're giving me advice that you should probably be taking. And so now it's time for these two to take a break from each other and to not take any activity towards the other. They need to go inside and deal with the things that are causing them these external challenges to begin with, because what's inside of us is actually what attracts our reality. These two have to learn that. They need to learn what it means to be truly self-loving and to serve themselves first above everybody else. I think that the thief person, especially if they're a parent, that they would have trouble putting themselves above their children, and yet they do it, like, in a selfish fashion. And I think that the rebel judge person is also just as selfish, and that these two, their mechanisms for selfishness are actually because they want a self-love that they're not giving to themselves. So in this particular case, I'm also noticing, like, this spiral goes one way and this spiral goes the other. These two are at odds with each other, but there's definitely a wealth of information, and they need to see the patterns, because Palace is all about patterns. The rebel needs to see the patterns that they have for, like, self-destructive or, you know, not positive behavior. They need to see whatever they're looking at in the thief, that they see that the thief has as these self-destructive qualities, is exactly what exists with them, but it just manifests differently. And the thief needs to see that they're sitting over here taking a look at the rebel and judging the rebel just as much as the rebel has been judging them. You know, that what exists within the rebel judge person exists within them too. It's just the semantics play out differently, and they just are exhibiting these qualities and these hurts differently. They've both been taken advantage of. They've both had authority figures like steal their work or harness power over them that was not legitimately so. So these two parties need to see that they're an exact reflection of the other. It's just that the way that it looks in the human realm, in the 3D, is different. But they're so the same, and actually that they could have a very positive and healthy, harmonious relationship here when they choose to work on themselves. And they have a lot of work to do. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is a while of work, because you don't get through this kind of stuff in a day or even in a couple of months. So both parties need to extract themselves from this situation. Self-love is so important here, because once they learn self-love and once they see themselves in each other, that attitude is contagious. So they got to go into this lower vibratory state in order to get to a higher vibratory state. You see? Like, these electrons are out in an outer shell. I feel like she's sitting here within the nucleus trying to zap things, and she's trying to create this change from within for both parties. The change has to come from within. And these external forces from the environment are invoking this type of change. See, that looks like an arrow right there. Can you see that? Yeah, the external changes are forcing them into action to defend themselves, but they happen to be defending themselves to each other. So when really it's just the universe is using each of these people as a mirror to see what they need to do the work on. And this is for their personal advancement, but it's also for the advancement of collective. Because once these people learn this lesson about self-love and how to put themselves first, and then they stop being so defensive, they'll be able to raise their vibration and come back together in a far more harmonious way. But also, they're teaching the collective how to do the same. So that's what you're bringing to the collective pile number 4. Your connection is so vital because it assists the rest of us to internalize and to love ourselves first and foremost. This is the first step in the self-love phase. This is what happens, like, you know, right after you wake up and you realize, oh gosh, there's more to this life than what I thought it was. And then it becomes a journey of self-love. And that's the first step to like advancing further on the spiritual path. It's also the first step before you can start fully manifesting things. So once these individuals learn self-love, like then to learn the powers of manifestation will be so much easier for them. I want to thank you guys, pile number 4, for joining me for your reading. We're going to tune in. Actually, I forgot to do these cards. So we're going to get a little bit more info from the universe about this particular love connection. It seems like people need to go away to come together right now. There's something going on within the collective that is helping us all ascend. Divine Dragon, this is the Ouroboros, it's number 8. This is also about abundance, and I said these two people need to focus on, well, I didn't use the word abundance, but anyways, and a cycle is ending. So this particular cycle with these two people is now concluding, and it's also the number 4, which reminds me of Emperor energy. So, and that is telling me like they need to gain control over themselves and assert themselves over their life. They're coming into a sense of personal power. And I think that at some point in time in the near future, they will learn how to manifest exactly what they want instead of, you know, residing in this victim mentality. Then we have number 2 with your 11-year-old self, which reminds me of the High Priestess. This is definitely about healing some inner child wounds. So a lot of this experience that you're experiencing with your person is coming from programming that was done since you were a child, and that's part of what you have to wake up to. See what that programming is and change it. You deserve to be loved, and you deserve to put yourself first. Then we have number 1 with 3, 2, 1 jump, and there's another spiral, if you can believe that. Triangles are about ideas, and this is a heart. So look, this heart is walking away from a situation. So yeah, maybe a temporary break from this connection is needed so that the two of you can return. And this might come as a surprise, both the walking away and the connection, but it is all about taking a chance. Oh my God, I can't believe, I think this came out in every pile. Coming soon, welcome to the ascending age. And guys, that's what this is all about. Remember, we wanted to see what your individual connections, energy, and situation is, and how you're jumping timelines and stuff, and how that affects your connection, but also how it affects the collective. And I believe in every single pile, we had this number 8 come out, which is coming soon, welcome to the ascending age, which means that every single pile is absolutely connected. And every single pile has a very strategic and well thought out purpose for their effect on the entire collective so that we can all ascend. So every lesson that I've presented in here, and I say it's actually my team, because you are a participant too and you're on my team, whether you know it or not. Like we're all working together for this ascension process to happen on the main collective scale. Can't do it without you, pile number 4. So, you know, if you need to take your time, that might be hard to hear, but it's beneficial, so that there can be a return, a coming together, because this is all about self-love for you, and it's all about having your healthy boundaries and working hard on that old programming, healing it, fixing it, so that everybody can learn the lesson from you. Because if we learn it from you, then we don't got to go through it, right? And we do. We all communicate in that astral realm. We all communicate energetically. So what you learn, you're going to transmit it to the rest of us, and you're going to be saving us our own heartache, just like we're doing the same for you. So I want to thank you so much for doing what you do. Can't do it without you. You are vital to the entire collective. Keep up the good work. Take the time, heal yourself, and then let's see about this connection in the future, because it does look like something is coming. They say soon, so maybe sooner than later. Bye, pile number 4.